Alrighty, Thursday, July 11th. Finally, that much needed pullback. We came into today's session with what was previously 7 consecutive sessions higher. Now that is getting quite a bit significant, right? Anytime you have 4 or 5 plus consecutive sessions higher in a row, it's time to start thinking about where price may be pulling back and being extra cautious with how you are positioning yourself, especially if it's to the long side. Now, as I mentioned, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that kind of thought process is a little tricky because a lot of traders misinterpret that as kind of a blind reason to be shorting. You start to see, 5 days higher, 6 days higher, start thinking there's no way it can go higher. Start shorting, right? You get caught in a trend day move like yesterday. So as always, you want to wait for that confirmation. You still want to wait for those setups. You want to wait for something that you can actually work with. This is just about preparing ourselves for the different sessions. Now, as far as today, main focus coming into the day was how price responded versus that prior day high. Now, one of the challenges with the current setup that we had coming into today, and one of the things I touched on yesterday during the session recap, was the fact that there's no real structure to work with. Price had previously broken out, right? We recently had that spring setup down through here last Monday, last Tuesday. Price triggers the breakout and then a straight vertical from there. So while it is pushing higher, you don't have a lot of strong structural points to actually be working with, a lot of strong pivots to actually be looking at and setting risk against, and watching how higher time frame price action builds out against those key pivots and those key areas. And that always poses a challenge, especially when you have a day like yesterday where price, if we remember from yesterday, one of the things I had mentioned again during the session recap was the fact that the volume point of control in that high volume node was down near the open. That is not really a good thing. It's not really a good thing because when price eventually does pull back, there's not going to be a lot of support, essentially, that you'll find a bounce versus. So you tend to have these pretty extreme retracement moves like we saw today. And today was a very good example of what I was talking about during yesterday's session recap, where you just have these vertical moves. There's no real heavy market participation to kind of fill in, right? Like if the volume point of control was somewhere through here where my cursor is, that may be a different story. It's just not there. It's just no market participation up through here. So most likely price, if it does start to pull back, which eventually it will, you're going to see these pretty extreme moves like this. And it helps that CPI was the spark there, but these scenarios, market structure, technicals are going to take precedent. So as far as what we'll be looking at for tomorrow's session, we do have PPI tomorrow, so I will be expecting more volatility. We also have a 10 a.m. print to look forward to as well. Now, the setup is pretty nice currently. I do like that price is back into this week's volume point of control. If we take a look from essentially Monday, let this rescale, we can see that the weekly volume point of control is right through here. That's where price is starting to find a bid. So you can start to see the importance of these high volume nodes, these volume point of controls. Not only that, but anywhere you're going to have a high volume node, there's going to be market structure. It's kind of the two are almost one and the same, right? You have a big range, there's going to be some type of high volume node there. And this is a key if we're going to be looking for A+ trade opportunities. We need some type of market structure. With the market structure, with those high volume nodes and those volume point of controls, you get a true level of interest, not just a reference point like a prior day high, right? Or some fib extension, which they can work. But as far as a true A+ play, we want those levels of interest. And so what we actually have for tomorrow is an afternoon base here. So if we take a look at the 5-minute chart, it's regular trading hours chart here, 5-minute with the volume profile on there as well, the session profile. What I like to see is essentially how price is going to be trading versus this afternoon base. So price essentially right around noon stops going down, right? We still technically make some fresh session lows, but the trend move has largely stopped and you just get this base that builds out. So for tomorrow, I'll be looking primarily at how price trades versus this base, and that'll most likely be into PPI, and then we'll have more volatility. So essentially looking at this 56.40 area, but more so interested in this 56.48. Like one scenario to think about is if price can leave this afternoon base and we see a partial retracement, or who knows, maybe even a full retracement of today's move. That is one scenario. Or if it breaks down, right, and you kind of start to see a larger reversal here, maybe price wants to retest that prior all-time high like NQ did today. Both of those moves are going to depend on the response to this afternoon base. So that'll be the main focus, essentially today's low as well as that 56.40 level of interest. And we can see all the prior structure we have here from earlier in the week. So it's going to be a really solid area to be watching. Now let's jump over to NQ. It is definitely quite a bit different. We do have a partial retracement already of today's move. You can see the fib on here. Now, what I love about NQ is the fact that it is retesting that prior breakout point. So let me switch to the hourly chart. So you can see the prior all-time high right through here. That was the 370 level, 20,370. Perfect retest. Perfect retest and hold. So main focus for NQ tomorrow will be essentially, can buyers continue to defend this breakout point? 370 is the main pivot there. And we could take a similar approach here with NQ to what I had just outlined in ES and kind of watch this afternoon base, right? Just like this. That aligns nicely with the 500 reference point and then the 370 key level of interest down below. So that'll be the focus for both ES and NQ. PPI tomorrow, and then a 10 a.m. data print as well should have some pretty good action. We definitely have much better structure to work with now. So see how it unfolds. I'll see you guys in the morning. Hope everyone had a profitable sesh, or at the very least did not find yourselves heavily offsides with this type of action. If you have questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a DM. See you tomorrow morning.